Trump readies to go full animal on the Democrats and expose their rampant corruption. In this video, we're going to take a look at the legal team that Trump has put together, how Rudy Giuliani is promising to go scorched earth on the Democrats, and how former advisor Steve Bannon and others are showing the absolutely foolproof way that President Trump will indeed be inaugurated on January 20th for his second term. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Would appreciate your smacking that bell and subscribe button, but I do want to get right into this. First, let's give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's our good friends over at BioTrust. You know, with our rapid advances in science over the years, there are much more powerful ways and more effective ways to boost your immune system than just taking mega doses of vitamin C. In fact, our sponsors over at BioTrust have combined four of the world's best immune-supporting powerhouses, along with that mega dose of vitamin C, into their #1 immunity support product, Ageless Body. Simply put, Ageless Body provides you 5 of the most powerful immune support ingredients available. I take it every day and I love it. And if you click on that link below today, you can now get Ageless Body at their lowest price ever with 51% off plus free US shipping to boot. So don't wait, click on that link below or go to my special website, agewithsteveturley.com, and give your immune system an awesome boost today. All right, let's dive right in here. We are getting reports that President Trump is ready to go full animal on the Democrats, okay? I mean, he's ready to take them down big time. The Trump campaign is assembling an all-star legal team for election challenges at every ballot counting facility in every major swing state where the Democrats dumped hundreds of thousands of unverified ballots in the early morning hours of November 4th that turned Wisconsin, Michigan, and possibly Pennsylvania to Biden. The one and only Rudy Giuliani is leading the Trump legal team, which has as its aim nothing less than the exposure in full for everyone to see of the election corruption and vote fraud being perpetrated at the highest levels of government. Giuliani is leading a team filing lawsuits in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and other states where the Republicans have been denied their constitutional access to oversee ballot counting in Democrat-controlled precincts. Most recently, the former director of national intelligence, Rick Grinnell, has announced a lawsuit against Nevada in response to their failure to provide voting transparency. Even the Supreme Court has had to step in, demanding that Pennsylvania give an account for why they were allowing a 3-day extension for counting mail-in ballots. And speaking of Pennsylvania, the Trump team got a major legal victory where they were granted more access to watch those who are counting the ballots in the state. Now, we're getting word that despite getting that court order, the Trump legal team is still being refused entry into the Philadelphia Ballot Counting Center, which, if true, means the Department of Justice has to get involved immediately with federal agents. The Department of Justice has actually already sent out voting rights monitors to 18 different states, including Pennsylvania, and that includes armed federal agents. In fact, the DOJ has had to inform prosecutors that armed federal agents are in fact being deployed to ballot counting processing centers. Democrats immediately freaked out and said this was just a Trumpian attempt to voter intimidation, when of course it's turning out to be basic protocol for law enforcement in general. These reports that the Trump legal team is being refused entry into a Philadelphia counting center, despite the fact that they've obtained a court order, are in fact true. I think the DOJ should absolutely step in immediately with federal agent law enforcement. I mean immediately, right? Which I'm sure, hopefully, they will do. Actually, Corey Lewandowski over a megaphone reminded election officials that their refusal to allow him to inspect the ballots requires him to call the sheriff, but I hear the sheriff is a coward. Now, this is what we love about Trump. The law is going to be enforced here. He's not your typical Romney Republican who just rolls over and plays whatever game Democrats decide they want to play. Trump plays by his own rules and not theirs, and his rules are law and order. And I have to say that no one is going more full animal on the Democrats right now than Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon has been on fire of late. He's coming out and saying that President Trump absolutely won the election. We're all going to bed at night, having seen swing state after swing state swing to Trump's favor. Georgia, Florida, Ohio, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Trump was leading by hundreds of thousands of votes. that all showed that the suburbs and the exurbs were voting overwhelmingly for Trump. He had the highest number of minority voters voting for him than any other Republican candidate in recent history. We all go to bed, and then all of a sudden at around 4 a.m., a tsunami of unverified ballots, virtually all going for Biden, suddenly appear, and they begin getting mixed in with the vote totals and then swing Michigan and Wisconsin to Biden. And Bannon's like, no one believes this. No one outside the Democrat Beltway and globalist establishment believes this. And then when Republican officials show up to verify the ballots, they're told they can't, that they're not allowed in. They're turned away. Now, I played you a video of a fellow testifying to that in Detroit in our last video, that Republicans were not allowed in the ballot counting rooms. And so Bannon is all like, that's it. Trump needs to declare victory and begin his second term right now as we speak. He needs to clean house, fire every single swamp creature in his administration, and then expose every single Democrat, indeed even Republican, at the highest levels of government for their repeated patterns of corruption. And I think Bannon is absolutely right. I think Trump has to be beyond bold here. I think we need to see some shock and awe, right? Like we've never seen before from a president. Bannon told Maria Bartiromo that there's no possible way that the Democrats can steal this. And that's because the Republicans control every single lever of power. And they need to use it and use it big. Trump won an overwhelming victory with certifiable legal votes. And now he needs to be bold, right? We got to stop playing games with these same people who use information warfare to spread a fraudulent narrative, right? These are this is a CNN Russian collusion hoax people. These are the people like Nate Silver and the Cook Report that are saying that this was going to be the biggest landslide victory for Joe Biden we've ever seen in this century. Is going to win by 14 points. These are the liars, right? This is Bannon's words. These are peddlers of information warfare. And they're the part of the media apparatus that wants to take the president down. But the people have risen up against the globalist establishment. They voted overwhelmingly for Trump. We saw it in the Senate. We saw it in the House. We saw it in the state legislatures all the way down the ticket. Trump won an enormous victory. Look at Florida. Look at Ohio, right? Remember, the candidate who wins Ohio and Florida wins 26 of the last 27 elections. The one exception being 1960 when John Kennedy stole that election by 100,000 votes. That was the one exception. If we get the legal victories needed to have counted every single legal and verifiable vote, Trump will have won this election in a landslide. What happened in Florida and Ohio will be reduplicated in battlegrounds all across the country. But if we don't get those legal victories, then you've got the next level of power. Again, I think Bannon is absolutely right. Trump has a moral obligation to implement the will of the people that voted for him fair and square on November 3rd. So if you can't get the courts to side with you, then you go to the state legislatures, the vast majority of which are Republicans, and they control the electors. And the electors in Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania, North Carolina and Arizona, all Republican legislatures, they can all vote Trump. Dick Morris is saying something very similar here. Morris thinks all the Republican-controlled legislatures in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan have to, in his words, step up and take charge of the ballot counting process from their governors, all of whom happen to be Democrats. And they need to take the fight out of the hands of the executive branch and then move it into the legislative branch. And if you live in those states, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, you need to contact your legislators now and pressure them to take control of this process. Now, if that doesn't work, we have another lever of power that the Republicans control. But first, we got a great gift for you. It's more timely than ever. It's called our Fake News Antidote. It's a compilation of about 20 sites that I go to for my news each and every day, and you can download it completely and totally free at the link down below in the pinned comments section. My gift to you. I think you're really going to absolutely love it. If you're looking for alternative news sources, right, that we need more than ever now, that celebrate rather than denigrate the rise of the new conservative age all over the world, this is a list of your go-to sites that you'll definitely enjoy, and it's yours absolutely free by clicking on the link below. It is my gift to you. All right, so if the state legislatures don't effectively take over the ballot counting process or appoint Trump faithful electors, we have another avenue, and that's the fact that we control the party delegates in the House of Representatives. Now, if they need to choose a president in the House, all right, the House has to choose a president. Each state delegation gets 1 vote for the president. California gets 1 vote. Texas gets 1 vote. Delaware gets 1 vote. And the winner is the one who gets 26 votes. And then if that doesn't work, it goes to the Senate, where we have a majority. And if that doesn't work, we go to the Supreme Court, where we have a solid 5-vote conservative majority. You see, we own this government. And it is time that we steamrolled the Democrats here. And there's nothing that any of one of those Democrats can do about it. In other words, we control the state legislatures, the majority of them. We control the courts. We control Congress. We control 28 to 22 of the delegates in the House of Representatives. And I think what Bannon is saying here is absolutely right. And I think this is what we're going to be seeing from President Trump. I think they are absolutely committed to exposing the voter fraud at the highest levels of the system. They're absolutely committed to having every legal verified chain of custody vote counted. And as we saw up until 4 a.m. on Wednesday morning, these ballots are therefore going to go overwhelmingly to Trump. And if the courts don't feel like cooperating, then Trump is going to boldly pull every single lever of power that the Republicans control to see to it that the democratically expressed will of the people is indeed honored, as over and against the corruption of crooked Democrat operatives and their misinformation media cohorts. That is what we will be keeping our eyes on in the days ahead. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. And you'll definitely want to check out my latest video, just uploaded it, on how Americans are indeed rising up against the massive Democrat voter fraud that's trying to steal this election. You're not going to want to miss it. I think it's going to really inspire you. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.